Hello YouTube, this is Keith Kevin Ken. How you doing? How you doing? It's time again for the Knife of the Day. The Knife of the Day is a daily series where I go through my collection one knife at a time, one day at a time. We're starting with my Spyderco collection. It's the biggest collection I have. I have a bunch of knives in 4 big Pelican cases. We've been doing a lot of discontinued Spydercos, but in the past 3 days, we've been featuring brand new Spyderco knives as the knife of the day, and today is no different. I just got it in. This is a special little baby. It's called the Lil Nilakka. The Lil Nilakka. There's a lot of new things about this knife of the day. A couple of firsts. I say the little Nilakka because this is the big Nilakka. Part of the ethnic series. Now both of these are part of the ethnic series. You've seen Spyderco a lot of times do a production knife and then do the little part of it, right? A smaller version of their knife. What makes this so special, Spyderco is calling this their very first flash batch. Flash batch. Limited edition. Now, what's the difference between a flash batch and a sprint run? Well, the difference is kind of subtle. They're both limited editions, but they really make sense, the difference. So, this is the original Melaka, right? A sprint run of the original Melaka would be this and maybe carbon fiber instead of the G10, brown G10 version that we have. And it would be limited edition. Sprint runs are usually around 1,000 pieces. A little more, a little less than 1,000 pieces. Or it would be this design and S110V steel and a blue G10. Okay? So it takes a production design that exists, improves it in one way or another, and then they release a limited edition of it. The flash batch is different. This little Melaka doesn't exist anywhere but in this flash batch. Now, if Spyderco did what they usually do, they release the original Melaka, and then they release a production version of the little Melaka, like they have with a lot of their knives, and then later they came out with this knife. And the difference would be the blade steel, or it has white G10 instead of brown G10. Then that would be a sprint run, limited edition. You have it until you go. In this case, this design has not existed except for this flash batch. The other difference, excuse me, is that with a flash batch, and we'll talk about everything else about this knife. Let's see if we can get close up here. With a flash batch, each and every one of them are numbered. So this is number 97 of 1200. With a sprint run, they're not numbered on the blade. Okay? We just know they're limited. Every now and then, people guess how many were in the sprint run, or rarely Spyderco will tell you how many in the sprint run. In this case, with this batch, flash batch, they say, hey, Kevin, we produced 1,200 of them. You have number 97. Each and every one of them are numbered. All right. That's important because when this becomes discontinued years from now and someone says, hey, psst, 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 I have the first flash batch Lil Nilakka, and you don't see a number on it, you know that's wrong, right? So that's it. That's the difference. It is limited edition. The Lil Nilakka never existed except in this flash batch. Now, why are they doing flash batches? Eric Glesser, the son of Sal Glesser, who runs the operation with his father Sal, They like it because they don't have to do that second step. They don't have to release a production knife and hope that it sells well. Instead, they go right to the Lil Nilakka. They release it at 1200, and that's it. They change over to produce the 1200, then they change their machines to continue cranking out Delicas and Enduras. I love the concept, and I'm really excited that they started with this knife. Now look, I'm truly excited about Gentleman Folders. If you watch the knife of the day, I have them all. Okay? Just in this past week, I showed you the Copa series, all 16 knives. I've shown you the Chaparral series and the new Chaparrals. I like it in a small form factor. Now let me just tell you about the specs of this knife, and then we'll talk about some of the differences from the other knife. This is a real small knife. It really is. 2.3 inch blade, full flat ground. I'll tell you, the original comes with a notice in the box saying, hey, be careful. This isn't really an EDC knife because of the tip. The tip can come off. Spyderco actually gives you that warning. And so I love my Melaka. And people go, yeah, but what do you cut with it? Yeah, actually, I cut pretty well with it. I just make sure I stay away from that tip. And the only time I use the tip is to open up letters. Okay. In this case, it's small. The tip is still thin, but not as thin as that one. Okay. 2.3 inch. And the steel is RWL34. I'm not that familiar with that steel. I know that it's a very good steel. It's hard, easy to get an edge. But if you guys know about the RWL34 steel, comment and help all of us out, all of this community out, to know more about that steel. Oh, look at the grind in it. It's just really nice. Now, they talk about a mini bevel. So you don't see a big, not mini bevel, but you don't see where the sharpening happens. It goes all the way down to almost a 0 at the bottom. I'm not that familiar with that. You guys help me out in the comments with that as well. Everyone who has done a review or will do a review will talk about that. You guys know I'm just an ordinary guy. I don't spend a lot of time knowing that kind of thing, but it is a real good slicer. I have found this to be such a great slicer. Okay? Sorry for the cop-out. I just don't know that much about it, so I'm not going to pretend like I do. When it's opened up, it's only 5.6 inches in total length. Again, full flat ground. Just like that was brown G10, this is white G10. That takes guts to do white G10. It could be discoloring, etc. in it. Has a stainless steel line, has stainless steel liners and stainless steel backstop. This one has the deep carry wire clip, which I love. This instead has a deep carry metal clip, which I hate it. You have this fancy 3D modeling on this one. It's so beautiful. The G10 is, it almost feels like wood on this one. And then you have the deep carry weird kind of clip. In this case, they have my favorite clip, the wire clip. It is right hand tip up carry only. Right hand tip up carry only. But I'll tell you, this is so small. You can just, I'm going to actually put this in a Chris Reeves sheath and just drop it in my pocket. You can just drop this in your pocket. It's also small enough to fit in that fifth pocket that you have in jeans. It is that small that you can do that. It's really good. Like I told you, RWL34 steel. This is the first knife with that kind of steel that I have. Only 2.6 ounces. Only 2.6 ounces. And it has a liner lock. Real thin liner lock for a small knife. It's easy to get to. The one thing about this knife is that profile. It's the same as the production version. Because they do the scoop right here in the handle. It's just a flat presentation, which really works well. Everything just fits in just snug and nice. In the bigger one, there's a little bit of jimping on the lock, but it's almost like for design. It's really not all that functional, but it's one of the best liner locks that I've come across. And you see the liner lock just nests right in there. Again, this, my friends, is the brand new Lil Nilakka from Spyderco. It's our knife of the day. It's number 97 of 1,200 that have been made. It's the first flash batch from Spyderco. That means it's a brand new design of a knife that they are just making 1,200, and then no more will ever be made again. A sprint run is the exact same design of an existing knife, but they've added something to it and they released it in limited distribution. That's it. I'm happy with my Melaka. I've got to play with it. That is the knife of the day. If you're enjoying these knives of the day, I figure we're good for another year or so going through all of my collection. Then like it, share it, subscribe. I'm actually losing subscribers instead of going to 2,000. So anyway, we'll see how long I keep doing this. I enjoy doing it. It's not for the subscribers, but if I'm doing it and people don't enjoy it, I'll just do it for my grandsons. Or do it less frequently. But do that. Turn on your notifications. Coming up later on today will be the pocket dump deconstruction. You guys have a perfect day. Keep those pockets full. Goodbye.